we have one mailbag question, so we're gonna hit the mailbag real quick.
Hey, I'm the mailman. I'm the mailman. Yeah, the real one.
All right, mailbag question number one. This is from Jeffrey Beauregard, and his question is as follows: just straight up PPR league, Martavis Bryant or Michael Crabtree?
Oh, this has nothing to do with you drafting last night and Crabtree ended up on your team and you wondering in hindsight.
No, it actually. Well, this did. There was a scenario in my draft last night where I wanted Bryant. It's no secret. We like Martavis Bryant here. So Jeffrey's probably talking about something similar to this. I can understand why this issue would come up. I got Crabtree, I think, in the 4th round in my draft, and I think I was going to pick Martavis in maybe the 6th round. I don't know. But looking at the teams, I mean, I've got Crabtree and I love him. What do you think? If you had people are wising up to Bryant being the real deal. Do you think he's worth a reach in the 4th round? And with that said, who do you like more? Just straight up Crabtree or Martavis Bryant?
Yes, a great question. And there is still that slight little risk that he's not fully reinstated Martavis Bryant. So I'm waiting for that. And if I'm drafting, yesterday, if I was drafting last weekend or this week, you have to have a little pause with that. And still, I mean, I have Martavis Bryant on my big board at, 30-ish. I think number 30 exactly, to be honest. And so I'm very high on him. I think
so you do think he's a viable 4th round pick?
I think he's higher than a 4th round pick. I think he goes towards the end of the 3rd. That is where I value him. So absolutely, I think his price is lower, so I wouldn't take him unless his price starts to creep up. But my personal value where I think he's going to finish the year is at top 30. I really genuinely think he's going to be a wide receiver 1. So if you're asking me who I'd have out of those two, it would be Bryant. Even though I love Crabtree, a little bit of this would depend on my roster composition. I know that sounds like a little bit of a cop-out answer, but let's say I have, Jay Ajayi and Zeke or something like that where nothing's sure on my roster yet. I might miss Zeke for 6 games. Ajayi seems like a true workhorse. We might actually have an interview tonight. Who knows? We potentially have something scheduled with the Dolphins Insider either tonight or later on this week where we're going to have a Dolphins guy in. We're still figuring out the exact time, so we might throw a flash interview in here out of nowhere just as a heads up.
Or we might just keep rambling incoherently.
That could be the case, and I know everybody loves that, right? But if I have an unsure roster and I need a guaranteed receiver, you have to go Crabtree in that instance. But if it's, you have a good balance or you like where your roster is headed already and you want another just potential season changer, Martavis Bryant, especially in the 4th or 5th where he's falling, could potentially win people leagues, whereas Crabtree is going to never lose you your league. He'll be a very dependable wide receiver too. He's going to get his 1,000 yards, his 7 touchdowns, his 60, 70, 80 even catches. He's going to have a good year. Crabtree's going to be good. But Martavis Bryant could change it all. So I side with Martavis Bryant. You know what's funny is
so you would take Bryant over Crabtree?
I would. And
really?
When I'm saying that, though, it's like I think about this and I'm like, all right, I just said that Michael Crabtree's going to have 70 catches, 1,000 yards, and 7 TDs. And I'm like, if Martavis Bryant does that, I think it's a win. And I'm
it's a huge win. And Crabtree, we've established, is Amari Cooper 2 rounds later, which, by the way, is exactly what happened in my draft. Amari Cooper went in the 2nd round early.
Yep.
And Crabtree went in the 4th.
And so what I'm saying is, like, why is it that I'm like, I need Martavis Bryant, though? It's way sexier.
I mean, would you take Amari Cooper over Bryant?
Yes, I would.
Okay, but it's the same player. We've established.
I think the point I'm trying to make here is, like, there's just certain players. I put Larry Fitz in this category, Michael Crabtree, where it's like, ho-hum, 80 catches, 1,200 yards,
It's
17.
not sexy. It's not sexy.
Nothing sexy. But if Bryant does that, it's the sexiest thing in the world. Why? Why the fact that I know what I'm going to get from Crabtree and I'm going to get it no matter what, why does that make it any less valuable to me? In fact, it should be way more valuable, right? I'd be stoked if I get that.
There's there's plenty of different types of women. And, like if one of them that's just like, really dressed to impress and comes up to you at the bar and's like, hey, baby, how's it going? And then another woman who's possibly not as gifted in some areas comes up and says exactly the same thing. You might judge them differently. And I guess you're saying Larry Fitzgerald is not sexy. You're saying Michael Crabtree is not sexy.
Yeah.
And, he could say the same thing and produce the same thing that Martavis Bryant does, and you're still going to judge him poorly. And
exactly. And
to
the
me,
thing
that's
is,
just
like,
completely unfair.
with Larry Fitz and Crabtree too, to keep your analogy going, it's kind of
Please
almost
keep
like
it going.
it's a girl, not just a girl that's also coming up to you at the bar, but somebody you've known and knows performs well. Like, you could bring them home and you're gonna have a great night, and they're gonna look fine in the morning. You could even get breakfast with them. They're cool to hang out with, and you're gonna like your time with them. It's not
Your
gonna be a
friends
bad
aren't
time by
embarrassed.
any
You're not
means.
embarrassed to tell your friends that you
No,
went
in
home
fact,
with Michael Crabtree.
Not at all. You'd probably tell, hey, I brought home Crabtree again. It was a great time, as usual. But yet, the allure of Bryant coming up to you, even if that sure thing's at the bar and you know you're going to have fun with that sure thing, you're like, but this one's dressed up a little sexier tonight, and maybe it could really just rock my world and be something out of this, something like I've never even experienced. And oftentimes, those are the ones that you go home with, and they wash off the makeup, and you're like, oh, what were you a few minutes ago? This is not what I signed up for. And you wake up in the morning and their voice is a little more annoying than you remember, or whatever it might be. And then you're kind of like, oh, maybe I should have just saddled up that sure production of Michael Crabtree, that guaranteed go home, have a fun night, enjoy yourself, versus the sexy, mysterious allure that was definitely looking great last night, looked better than Crabtree last night because it's different, it's unique, and
The lighting was different in here.
Right, exactly. It could be the best thing you've ever had, and then you realize afterwards, oh man, maybe I should have gone with Old Dependable. That's kind of what the situation is. That's a funny analogy. That actually works perfectly here.
Yeah, that's good. What would, just real quick to keep going with that, what would it be like if Dez came up to you in the bar?
I mean, that's just like, I know you're not going to talk to me tomorrow. You're going to do whatever you want to me. Are you talking like the Dez Bryant female, or is this Dez Bryant like actually Dez Bryant?
Well, they're interchangeable for all intents and purposes on this.
I guess that's the purpose is. I was thinking it as a female lens, like
Sure,
like,
female
this is
Dez Bryant.
the 10 out of 10 that just decides on you for the night, and you know you're not going anywhere long term, but you're like, all right, let's rock my world. But I guess it could have applied to just Dez
Well, let's be
Bryant.
honest. If Dez Bryant came up to you and was like, "All right, let's go," I mean, you'd probably.
Do you
go
have
with him.
any choice? He's gonna kill you, or
Yeah,
you're
he's gonna destroy you. He's gonna treat you like a boy.
Oh fuck!
He's a
Like,
man.
and you can't say no because otherwise, like his posse, you're gonna die a brutal death if you decide not to.
Yeah,
because-
once Dez comes up to you, or female Dez in the bar, you gotta.
I guess you just it's not gonna. It's like that scene in friggin' 300 where he's like, "You will not enjoy this. I am not." It's like, oh, fuck.
Well, Jeffrey, we hope this answered your question. It certainly took us places that we weren't expecting to go, but I could see this turning into a recurring segment.
Right? Yeah. What fantasy players? What girl at the bar? But I say to just round about Jeffrey, so you know the answer. My answer is Martavis. Going through that analogy makes me question that. It's like, why is it Martavis over Crabtree? If I know I'm getting those points from Crabtree and Martavis, it would be so much sexier to get the same exact points. I don't know why. It's just who I am, I guess. I'm going with the sex appeal of Martavis Bryant. And I do think there is still, even after that whole analogy, there is another level of ceiling to Martavis Bryant than there is Michael Crabtree. And if he does stay on the field, which it sounds like everything's head screwed on, everything's good, I think his floor is pretty similar to Crabtree's as well, as long as he's on the field, which is that's why his floor isn't the same, because he might not be on the field.
And Jeffrey, I'm going for the strong, reliable, get what you get, what you're expecting of Michael Crabtree.
Alrighty, fair enough, Jeffrey.
That's it for the mailbag. We'll be right back right after this.
Interesting mailbag.